Hi, it's Nell, and today I'm continuing on with the succulent series, and this one is all about planting succulents in small containers. So stick around for that. And as usual, there is a blog post to go along with this video. It'll be in the top of the description. Down below, it'll have links in it and a lot more information in there. And there is also a post about small pots for succulents, and quite a few of these pots. This one, this one, this one, and this one are in that post. So you can look at that, and if any of them appeal to you, you can just buy it there. So small succulents and small pots go hand in hand. They just they don't have a really big root system, so they can grow slightly tight in these pots, and it's a nice look. Many of them stay low and compact anyway, so they can stay in these pots for a long time. And what I mean by small pots is like a 2 or a 3-inch size. They're a lot easier to plant in the smaller containers, where if you have like a 4-inch plant and you're trying to get it in a pot this size, it's a lot harder. So that's the thing. You'll find that many of them come in 2 or 3-inch pots, so they are ideally suited for these small pots. Most of these pots I got on Amazon. These two I got here in Tucson, these smaller pots, but you can find them on Etsy. A lot of places have these beautiful small pots. If you like some of the small pots you see here, then be sure to download the Like to Know app so you can check out all of our favorite small pots for succulents. Make sure to follow our shop on the Like to Know app. We upload regularly, so you can check out all the JoyUsGarden approved garden necessities, plant decor, pots, and gifts. And there really isn't too much to know about this. It's not too complicated at all. I recommend having a pot that has a drain hole, because if you have a pot this small, it's hard to get some rock in the bottom too for drainage and the plant and the soil. And oftentimes the pots will come, like I think this pot is one. If you see it here, there's a plastic tab over the drain hole. So just be sure to take it off, because the water is not going to go through if you don't take this off. But a lot of them have the drain holes. They just come with the drain holes. This one has a good size drain hole, and I definitely recommend that, because you don't want any water building up in these small pots. So the best time to do this potting extravaganza is in either spring, summer, or early fall. It's the best time to plant almost any plant, to repot or to plant. So that's when I always do mine. It is the end of May, so they will be well on their way to growing over our warm summer here. And I always use a succulent and cactus mix. I'm doing a totally separate video on succulent soil, so you'll find out more about that. But it's really chunky. It has some nice big elements in it. It has cocoa coir chips, and it has a pumice in it, and those big chips are going to really help the water to drain through, and that is what you want. There's a couple things I want to say before I start the planting. A couple more things. This is my Calico Hearts. I love this one. I just got it. I haven't seen this plant in ages. It's in the Crasulaceae family, and I got it at EcoGrow in Tucson. But I wouldn't plant this size succulent in this pot. This was a 4-inch plant with a good root system on it, just because if you plant small plants in big pots, it's a little bit too much of a root mass, and you can cause root rot easier, because the soil is going to stay, there's more soil to stay wet. So just mind that. Small succulents and small pots are just fine, and you might want something like, I like this for this kind of a job. If I just have to kind of finish things up, it's handy to have a small trowel. I've had this one for ages, but I do have a set of small tools in my Amazon store, or you can just use a spoon. It's just easy to have, just easy to have a smaller tool to work with. Okay, now I'm getting the gloves on, and we're starting the repotting. We're gonna do the good stuff. And this pot already has a little piece of screen in it. It came with it. I always put a piece of paper or something over the drain hole so that until the soil gets a little bit more settled in there, it's not all gonna come out that bottom hole. So that's just something I do. This is my succulent mix over here, easy to work with. It's really light, and I just squeeze these out, just a squeeze, and then it just pops on out. Succulents usually, especially the smaller ones, come out pretty easily, so you don't have to worry too much about that. And I plant it just a little bit up because I want the crown just up slightly above the edge of the pot. Just gonna fill that in around, and here comes the harder part. If you have a chunky mix, like this, you have to sort of play with it to get it in, but it's not hard at all. Just go all the way around, get it worked in. And then what I do with succulents, instead of putting the worm compost, usually instead of putting the worm compost and the compost right on the top, I will let it kind of settle in for a few days before I water it, then see how much the succulent mix sinks down in, and then I will put a little worm compost and compost on the top. And that is all there is to it. And now this will be this trio here. So those are all done. Now we're moving on to an even smaller pot, and these can be tricky to work with. And I need to take that drain hole thing out that I was talking about because we want the drainage. And this has a screen in it, so that's fine. Now these are a little trickier because the pot is so small and there's not a lot of room to work. But let me see. There we go. It just comes right out. And this one has a little bit more of a root system, so I'm just going to slightly pull it apart. And this one is really tricky to get the soil in because the foliage is so tight around it. So I just sort of this is where this comes in handy. And here's one other thing I do. I'm all done here. I just sort of had to tuck it in, go around. It's just no sort of tedious. It's much slower than this one here, which is just straightforward. But as you can see, there's a lot of mixed debris on here, so I just close my eyes and I blow. And there, it's all gone. So that one can join this one with the living stone there. Those are such cool plants if you haven't seen those before. I'm going to be doing a post on those at some point, and you'll see more of them planted in a video coming up. So what I'm going to do is just plant up these two here too. Now this one is from a local artist. I love this pot, and it's got two big holes, so I just have some pieces of paper under here. And because I love this pot so much, I'm just going to do one plant. I'm just going to do the princess pine in here, and it's just going to kind of fill out in here and spread. And I like this one plant in this one pot. So I just love pots. I think they're really fun. So okay, same drill. You know what's going on by now. Those noises in the background are the quail, by the way. It's feeding hour. I'll do the same thing. I'll let it sit for a few days and then settle in, and then I'll see if I need to add any more, but that's all. And I just think this looks so cute in here. I love this, princess pine. This is a crassula too, in the jade family. Okay. Now the last one I'm going to show you for the small pots is this one here. And this one doesn't have a drain hole, so it could go in that drain hole one too. But I am going to add just a little bit of rock in the bottom of this one because it has the width. So I'm just going to get that and add just a little layer in. I'll be right back. So I just put a scant layer over the bottom here. It's actually a really fine black lava rock. It'll be linked in the blog post because, as usual, there is a blog post to go along with every video. So I like this one because I think it just looks fun in this pot. So again, get it out, and I'm going to take out a little bit of it. Oops, it's heavy. Boy, the doves are chiming in now too. It's just about 5 o'clock, so it's bird happy hour. Brielle is here filming, and I just cracked myself up. Bird happy hour. Okay. There we go. And when I do the succulents in pots with no drainage, I'm also going to give you some tips for how to water them. So let's see if I have it. Oh yeah, that's fun. I think I'm going to tilt it back just a little bit, just like that, you know, because I think it'll look fun. All right, there. So that is how you plant succulents in small pots. And as I said, there are so many small pots. You can really have fun picking out succulents and pots and sort of matching them. As I said, I love this one in this pot. I like this one in this pot. This I think is a fun, you know, trio too. So get some succulents and get some small plants and get planting up. So I hope you have found this video about planting small succulents in small pots to be helpful. I have a lot more succulent videos coming your way, so stay tuned for those. As always, I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get into our indoor succulent gardens and make our world a more beautiful place. I thank you for watching, as always, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.